Hi Narayan, welcome to our knowledge series. Super glad to have you here.
Same here.
So maybe before we start, if you can give us a quick, brief intro about yourself and Dexetra and your current role, that would be great.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Dexetra was now a whole story, but it was one of the most exciting phase of my life. So bunch of us, we were working in Bosch, and we were building some head units for the car. So often cars like the Audi series, and especially I was looking at smart car, which was the small car, Mercedes. And we were building the capacity space in the cars. And the platform that we used was very basic. It was WinC or something like that, which is probably 16-bit and a very average performing platform. So we kind of thought, why can't we explore some other platform? So we explored Linux. Then we saw something called Android, which was at a beta at the time. So we just explored, we built on it, and we found this a very cool platform. So at some point, we decided that this could be something big. So even before the first Android phone was released, so a bunch of us we quit our jobs, and we thought we can build something on Android. And we thought of building something really, beyond our means. Like we wanted to build something similar to what Google now is today. This is in 2010, and just for the reference, Google now came in 2013, second half or something like that. So, but it was quite, there was no path. But we just built some prototypes, we built some versions, we launched some versions in the market. Did not give much traction. We were written about in some tech media like TechCrunch and stuff. But when Siri happened, that's when people start to realize the power of something like this. And the very next day of Siri, we launched something called Iris, which is like Siri in reverse, but just the similarity end there. We completely ran on Android. We built something, from very for our product was called Friday. Originally, the platform which is like Google now, and we wanted to build something which is not just like Siri, but at that moment we thought just as a tongue-in-cheek reply we just made that, but it really became big. At one point, was the largest privately held of voice assistant in the world, and that kind of landed a lot of interest from investors and other players. So we raised funds, but we continued to build a Friday platform, and Friday was quite ahead of the time, I would like to believe. But we were a bunch of engineers, right? So we were just building cool tech. We don't have an idea of what to do with it. But the tech was cool, that I have to say. It was, this is all in 2012, 2013, that time, right? It could kind of, you can actually talk to your phone, you can say, show me the pictures that I took last in the middle of the night when I had a low battery. So it'll show you. So it can talk to you. It can get things from your life, context aware, all those things, all check boxes it tick. But you don't know what to do with it. But then uh, we were kind of building it and building it. Our investors are also kind of to back us through the journey. But at some point, we realized that we don't know where we're going. So in the meantime, we also got a couple of offers. We've been getting this throughout our journey, and Truecaller was one such offer, which did not materialize. And then we had a bunch of other offers, and eventually, when Quixie happened, it happened through iSpirit. When Quixie happened, we felt that Quixie was also a very hot startup at that point of time. It was Alibaba backed, based on Mountain View, and they were building something very similar. They were trying to create a search for a new world. Like you have search in the open world, which is Google, but in the apps world, you cannot search across the apps. So Quixie was building something which can make you search into the apps and like kind of show results from the apps. It sounded very cool, and there was a lot of synergies in what we were building. So we decided we can go ahead on a merger, and then eventually we became Quixie India. And Yeah, that's how the journey ended. But a lot of my our piece of technology still lives on. We had a bunch of patents, which is now part of Samsung. Many of our folks eventually went and joined some teams in Samsung, like Bixby and other places. So I would like to believe that many of the code which we wrote is still, being used in various parts. So that is a way to look at it. more than anything, it was a great learning journey. I think whatever we have done throughout our lives after that, this was the base of all that. Yeah, so
So if I
subsequently, after
sorry, if I may, I
yeah,
have a
go
couple of
on.
questions on that. One, I've read about how you love coding, and from early stage also you wanted to build something, right? That has always been there. But when did you decide that you wanted to start a company? Right, that's the first question. What was the motivating factor there? And the second one is, how did you actually pick your team? Who were the first team members in that journey?
So how we started was more of it is a non-linear journey that you want to take in life, right? So if you work in a company, you in 10 years you can reach somewhere. It is very linear, it is very predictable. It's a good thing. I'm not saying predictability is a bad thing, but at that point of time, we saw an opportunity. See, I have been from my childhood, I have been exposed to computers and technology, and been reading the folklores of the 80s of when Microsoft and Apple and companies like that. In 90s, I've seen myself when indie developers had a lot of power to build things like Prince of Persia and Doom, and bunch of those platforms were built by small teams, right? So I felt in 2000, late 2000, it was a similar repetition of the cycle where what happened to desktop in 80s, or what happened to the world of computers or internet in the 90s, were getting repeated in late 20 to 2000s in the form of mobile, where an indie developer or a small team of developers can actually build and make a mark in the world. And today, if you see, it's not really easy to get distribution. Um, as an indie developer, if you have to break through the billions of apps in the world, it's not easy. But that point of time, in fact, Dexetra published the app number 2000 something on Play Store. So like the top first 3000 apps in Play Store, we launched one of them. So it was the barrier to entry was pretty low. It was a blue ocean at that point of time. Slightly digressing, but the point being, I felt that this is similar to, at least that ignorant, stupid mind had the thought that this is very similar to the 80s when a small team can build something and make a mark. We thought we could also do that because the market is just shaping up. It's not yet, bulldozed by big players. Second thing was that it was something we really believed, right? So we got our first Android developer device, which was like called Android HT the Dream or something like that. It was not launched as a commercial phone yet, but developers who signed up could get their phones by paying some $400, and it was shipped from US. I remember we took a day off from our work to receive the phone from the courier boys, and so that we can, And when I first held that phone, it was a full QWERTY keyboard with the trackball and all. The phone had more juice in it than my workstation. Like it had like some 512 MB RAM. It had some, you know, display. It could run for 10 hours. I mean, Bluetooth, GPS. I was like, wow, this is like really. That's the first time we are actually looking at a smartphone from a close quarters, right? We had all these P1i Symbians and Nokia's and Sony phones, but this is like a real computer, right? And we thought, wow, the idea that came to our mind was if we could just harvest all the sensors on the device and just collate them somewhere and then kind of make some sense out of it, it'll be great. It's like a self-writing journal. That's how we thought about it. And what actually made us quit our jobs was that Google was running this thing called Android Developer Challenge, which they run 2 editions or 3 editions, I remember. And that point of time, the price was $100,000, and $100,000 was like a huge sum for us. Like this is in 2009 or 2009, late 2009. So we thought we can't quit our jobs. Let's just build an app which will win the $100,000. And I think the second, third, fourth, fifth prize were also some juicy, like $50,000, 60,000. Our yearly salaries would come to like what, 5,000, $6,000, like 10, 15x, right? So we're like, let's do something like that. And so we thought about the first investment was a blackboard. So we were all bachelors living in Bangalore, so we'd all huddle in one of our house. I think my house. We had bought a blackboard. We would all write, what can we build with this? So we just wrote down, this is the phone. This has 10 sensors. This is the capability that it has. What can we think of? And like the least unimaginative people we were, we thought like, why can't we use all the sensors and just capture that, right? And then we thought, okay, let's build on it. So we didn't have when this was happening, we didn't even have the phone with us. Like we had not gotten the developer. It was just emulator on the computer. So we built this app which is like called Friday, which will basically take information from all your sensors, your address book, your phone calls, your messages, your GPS, your Bluetooth, and then collate them into one, a semantic map. And we were running all these things on an emulator. We were just mocking everything, and we built the V1 for like 3 months, I guess. And then in October, when 2009 or something, is when we got the phone. And the first day we got the phone, and when we plugged the phone and tried to run this, it was not even running on the real device. And then it took us 3 days to make it work. But we was quite excited. Like this is like really cool. But what happened is it was such a heavy, like huge project that we were thinking we did not realize the depth of it. That by the time the deadline for the developer contest ended, we were not even like close to what we wanted to build. It was like somewhere in the middle. It was not even in a state where I can submit it as a you know entry. So we missed the deadline. We were pretty sad. And in a month or so, the results came, and the apps that won were like some tic tac toe, or like in an order of magnitude simpler, but complete, of course. So then we realized, wow, I mean, we really did not gauge this properly, right? We could have easily built something much simpler and maybe even had a chance. But we thought, anyways, like we have gone past that. We felt that this is like still really cool. I think we should pursue this. And by the time we were all like 20, 22, 23, whatnot. So we were just like stupid to think like let's just let's just make this big. This is like the semantic map was the word in our head. Like let's build a semantic map, or which is like the second brain for the person. All these monikers we had in our head. So this is the initial team, like three of us. In fact, there was four of us. One guy did not want to quit his job. He's now in the states, working for one of the great big. But three of us, we thought like, let's actually quit our jobs and just do this. But we knew that all three of us were engineers, like and we needed more folks. So two of my college mates also joined me as a part of the core team, as a founding team. And then the sixth guy, who is also my college mate, he just finished his masters from UK, and he's the only non-techie in the team. And we told him, hey, look at this. We have this cool idea. We have built the prototype, but we need to raise money, because we need to quit our jobs, and we need to still, have some money to get a small deal like that. And he was also somehow, I don't know why, but he was also smitten by this, and he said, okay, let's do this. And this is all because we were young, and we had the energy and risk appetite to do stuff. And he went around shopping with an idea, and badly made business plan, um, to raise some money. Eventually we raised some 25 lakhs, which was like a big sum for us. I have not seen 25 lakhs in my life till then, in any form. So for me, 25 lakhs is like, wow, that's a big sum, right? So we thought we ran with that for almost with the 25 lakhs, we did all sort of experiments. Like we ran our company for 6 to 8 months. We hired a small team as well. We built our app number 2000 something on Play Store, and which was the first 100 apps or something to hit 10,000 downloads on Play Store. And mind you, 10,000 was a milestone that point of time. If you hit 10,000 milestone, Google was giving you a phone. Uh, what is it called? Nexus One, I think it was. We built some games. We built a massive multiplayer online game. We built an app which became top 15 app store and made a lot of money. So we did bunch of stuff before to figure out the what is this platform, what is this ecosystem like. While on the other side we were building Friday, we did not have the domain expertise at that point of time, so took our time. It took us a year to get the hang of it. By then we had almost run out of the money, 25 lakhs, and then we raised a small angel round from Vijay Shekhar Sharma, from Paytm. That was also an interesting story, but that's for some other day. So that was a good sum for us to keep us going for a good amount of time. And Paytm also had a sparsely populated office in Bangalore, so he was kind enough to give us some space in that office. So that was also taken care of. Till then we were in Cochin. because we wanted to like preserve as much cash as possible. So out of six founders, I think one, two, three founders were from four founders were from Cochin. Me and Yasser were from Trivandrum. So at least four people did not have to pay rent, and like they could like come from home. And we both took a small house and we rented out another apartment for an office. So it all worked out that way. But we realized that we had meetings with Samsung and some OEMs. So every time there's a meeting, we will have to go to Bangalore, and we all the action was in Bangalore. If you have to any potential VC meet, it will be in Bangalore. So eventually, after as soon as we raised the money, we moved to Bangalore as a team. So from there, things were better because Bangalore was the hub at that point. See, this is all in 2010, 2012. I think there was not startup was still not like a bad word, you know. It is not even a good word. It is not even a word, you know. So we did not even call ourselves startup. I don't know if we did. There were very few examples to look up to. Like in Kerala, we had MobMe, and that was a small that was one I would say senior batch we could look up to. It was a very small ecosystem at that point of time. Like there were a few bunch of startups which um, we all knew each other. So it was good in a way. There's no pressure like today the world has, and there's not extreme amount of gyan also. So we could do our own thing and fail as well. But as luck would have it, we somehow managed to survive and things happened. We were actually selected for TechCrunch Disrupt in 2011. We could get visas, so we dropped off. Again, that's another story for some other time. So we have done all stupid things, but look, I'm here. I'm okay. I'm 34, so ended up there.
So to pick up, one of the other things that you spoke about, coming back to the exit part of it, right? Or even offline, we spoke about some of the people that helped you with in that process. Can you take us through, how did that end up happening? Who played the key role in that aspect also? Uh, Basically, the exit journey, how the conversation started, and who all helped
Look,
in the
we were
process.
not actively looking for an exit. At the same time, we were also not sure. I would be very honest. I was not 100% sure. We knew that we could make this a really strong platform, but uh, see, I'm taking Google now as a comparison for people to understand the analogy. I'm not saying we're as good as Google now for sure, but if you look at Google now today, you cannot Google now cannot be a app of its own. If it was built by an indie developer at the same level of complexity and sophistication, they wouldn't have gotten distribution because Google now is not an essential app. Like Google now, as in the left, when you swipe left on your Android phone and you see that feed, right? It's not an essential app. It is something which has been in the platform, prescribed by the platform itself, and hence it is people are given enough like years of time to get used to it. Still, it is not a very high engaging product, but it has immense value. There are times in your life when Google now becomes a savior. Like when you go to Google Photos and search for that photo, where like that I can search for my what bank certificate. If I search, still give you that scan. So that there are like moments of happiness it gives, but it's not like really something, right? So ours was something similar, little bit more active to the engagement with the user. For example, if I every day go 6 o'clock, if I go to gym and I listen to certain kind of music, after a few days it will learn that pattern and it will tell you that, hey, do you want to route to the gym? And then when I reach gym, it will tell you, hey, do you want to play your favorite gym playlist? So it knows all those things. It will learn all those things. It was still not going to people are not going to like download it like they download TikTok today, right? It's not instant gratification loops there. So we didn't know also how to build that thing into. I mean, that's not even the product. The product is more of a, we realized later, much later, that it's not a consumer product. It's probably a platform which I could expose and other people can build on top of it. But we don't have that level of maturity. So we were not sure, that we knew that we are completely happy about what we built, but we don't know how to take it to the next level. So we thought, if there is a place, somebody who has done this, who was more smart and more, if they want to join hands, if or they want to take this and take it to the next level, we're always open to it. At the same time, we did not find specifically a fit for that. I mean, anything like, for example, Truecaller was one thing that happened. We almost, did that deal, but eventually at some point it did not. It fell through. And then even there at some point there were three or four other offers also on the table. We were casually conversing with them, seeing what were the synergies. So in that time is when I spread Avinash Raghavan and Sanat Rao. So we were Dexetra was a company which most developers or techies or startup folks would know, but I don't know how much of mainstream folks knew about it. Like we were not like very media friendly folks in them out there. Like we were very shy. Somehow, but we were connected to the community. Have spoken in NASCOM, I've spoken in DroidCon. So all these developer communities, and in one of those places, I think I met these guys, and I was casually probably telling them about this is what we're looking at. And then one fine day, I think Sana tells me that this company called Quixie, they're interested to talk to you guys, and because the nature of and we I think more than 50-60% of our user base was in US. So me or co-founders used to travel back and forth once in a while. So I was also instantly in the valley that time, and then Sanat made this connection, and I casually met a Guru, who was the CEO of operating officer of Quixie. He's now the CEO of Verizon Media, right? So it was a very casual conversation. I didn't even know anything is going to happen there. So we just spoke. I took showed him my product, my app. We had a bunch of apps as well. So he liked it, and then he said, "Let's talk." And from there, I don't know what happened. It's all right now. It's kind of hazy in my head, but I know that they gave us a really good deal, and we spoke to our team. We had a very small team, and that point of time, some of the other vanity metrics that we were tracking was not to have a big team, not raise more money than required. So some of these kind of stupid ideals we had. So we wanted to keep our team size less than 15. At that point of time, Instagram, WhatsApp, all 10-member team, 12-member team, right? So we want to emulate those things, right? So 15-member team, we asked the team like what to do. Like we have these three, four offers, and this is this. And the team was, and we have actually rejected a bunch of offers as well when they didn't want to take the whole team as well. So we were very, like, always been very close as a team. We knew that the worth of every member in the team. So for many reasons, amongst that, like being acquired by a Valley company, and probably the Silicon Valley dream and all those things, and most people wanted that Quixie is a choice. And even otherwise, logically as well, they were building something which was really cool. Quixie was the hottest startup at that point of time. So then we thought, okay, let's go with Quixie. And Quixie also had a really good plan for. See, there are three levels of acquisitions. One is you acquire the team, that's the lowest, right? Then you acquire the team and the product, that is the next best. And then you acquire the team, product, and the user base. So that is the complete acquisition, right? So when and the value that you bring and the price that you pay as a acquiring company is based on what are you acquiring them for. Are you acquiring them for the team, are you acquiring them for the product, or are you acquiring the team, product, and the user base? So luckily for us, I think it was all three. We checked all three boxes. I would say third box late, not very heavy tick, but still it was there. So and there was a very clear plan of how they're going to use our tech in terms of into their product, and which is they had, like I said, the Google search for the mobile or the app world, right? And we already had built a lot of tech around semantic mapping and identifying a lot of things. They had built a lot of tech around crawling into the apps and then figuring out things. So that's a great tech. We were all tech first, and we loved what they were building. So then that happened, and it took a while for all the dealings to close. But yeah, from then it just happened. There's a limbo state between that where you don't know what you're doing, right? Because you're going to be a part of some other family, and then do you want to continue building? Do you don't want, like that was there? But overall, that's how it happened. Yeah, I guess I
So
answered your question.
absolutely. So fast forward to 2020. How does today look like for you? What is your current role at Glance, and how are things shaping up, and how does the future look like for you personally?
So I think I'm lucky to be part of this journey over and again, right? So after Quixie, I was briefly part of Lookup, which got acquired very fast, and then I was part of Truecaller, and then Truecaller India. I built a small team. There was no tech and product in India. I built a team starting from the first member, and then when I left Truecaller India, it was a team of close to 100. By then, they had acquired Chiller and bunch of stuff like that. And then after Truecaller, I joined Glance. Glance was in a similar state. I mean, slightly. Truecaller was already a 100 million DAO business at that point of time. Uh, Glance was just starting. The guardrails were set. Like the momentum was already there. But last 1 year, we went from 6 million daily active users to just recently hit 100 million daily active users. And so we've always had this dichotomy of whether I'm doing product or whether I'm doing engineering. Sometimes I work on the product side of things, doing engineering. But eventually, I decided some time ago that I would stick because that's more definitive. So in glance, I I joined as the head of engineering, and from there, it's been a really exciting journey. And at the scale at which you operate, the kind of challenges we face on a daily basis is phenomenal. And I look at Buzz as a startup only, right? It is just that we have a better brand of Inmobi to work under, but it is a startup. And we work like a startup, and I think I've gotten another opportunity to do things which I could have done like a few years ago with a better infrastructure, better leaders, and better team. And so I think the next few years we're gonna build one of India's largest platforms that you will see. So it's already up there, but it will be will widen the gap. That's the idea.
Awesome. So before we move on to our next round, I have two questions for you. The first one is, are there any companies that you wish you co-founded?
I have, I mean, these are not companies that you would really think are like mainstream, but I have always felt that sometimes you always think of building something really grandeur, right? Like starting from my Dexetra itself, like we started with a very, very grandeur vision. I'm not saying it's wrong, but when you execute, the grander vision has to be executed sequentially. You cannot start like like Alexander did, where he directly attacked Paris and then lost, right? I mean Napoleon. I'm sorry, right? Where you just begin rather than doing that. You should start small, build something which is very clear value prop, and then see what can be built next. If you look at Glance, it's a very simple proposition. Like you have a lock screen um, which is like been dead for almost from the last few decades of smartphones. Now they brought it to life by bringing wallpapers which can have the latest information. From there, it has become like a complete ecosystem of content on the lock screen where you can see different things. So you start small and then you build brick by brick, right? So that way, there are a bunch of companies in India I've seen, right? Like Zoho, for example, which is a very simple SaaS product. I've always had a fascination of building SaaS products after Dexetra because I realized when you can make revenue, then, your own, you write your own destiny. So there's another small startup called Buffer in US. You can read about it. Very simple value prop, but very very strong. Connect with the users, and it is only dependent on how the users think about it. Right? It's not dependent on the investment and things like that. It is self supporting. Similarly, Dribble. So some of these kind of platforms, like Dribble, again, very very sharp user cohort, right? I think when I was a part of Dribble as a creator. I remember there was 70 to 80,000 creators on the platform. That's it. But it was world's largest or the most popular creator platform for designers, right? So these are some of the startups. It is not your Microsofts or the Apples which I think of. But some of these products which are very you can the moment you it's like magic, right? When you see magic, it's like wow. And then you see what is a sleight of hand. It's like, oh, this is so simple. I could have done this. I mean, these are those startups where once you know what they've done, why didn't I think of it? It's so simple and stupid. So I think these are some of the startups, and I've always thought that building a simple SaaS startup is really hard, like to find something like that.
Awesome. So on the same note that you mentioned, we get a lot of Apples and Teslas when we ask this question in the knowledge series, but that's a good note. So the last question in this segment is, which is your favorite book?
Uh, it is really hard to say. I have uh, I have a bunch of them in different verticals. It's been a while since I have read something which is um a non-fiction and non-technical book, but the recent one is the genome. Uh, I don't know whether you've heard of it. And then there's
Sorry,
another
what
book
was?
which is not
Sorry,
the
I
right here.
missed the name. What was the name again?
It's called the genome. I can share the hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
It's called the genome, the autobiography of 20 species in 23.
So on
Can you
that
hear
note,
me?
yes, I can hear you. So on that note, we come to the end of our first segment, and we move to a second segment, which is called as photo walk, where we have a bunch of your pictures that we sourced. Maybe we can go through one by one. If you can explain your memory, on that image, that would be. If you can explain, the memory behind that, or if it were an inflection point in your journey, that'd be great. So this is the first picture.
Yeah, now I read about it. It looks quite, you know, whatever claims been made never happened. But this was, I think, one of the times when a really mainstream news paper came to our office to talk about our product. And I mean, this is all my co-founders. This is me in a very different form. And then the leftmost is Yasser, and the person next to me is Ibin. These three are the folks which I've worked with, and the other three are Abi, Nitin, and Binil, who are my college mates. And Binil is the non-techie. So I think this is after we raised our fund from Sequoia and Qualcomm as well, which are Series A. Yeah.
Got it. I think I have a better picture of your team or part of your team here in the next one.
So some other startups that start up in around that time and now are bigger. For example, Your Story. I think this is a picture from Your Story, if I'm not wrong. Maybe so. Your Story. We got a first break when I was talking in the Tech Sparks. They had the Tech Sparks, the first Tech Sparks event, and we won the event as well, I think. Um, so that is the first time when we came to limelight in a slightly, what do you say, a fringe area of tech and non-tech world, right? So Your Story has been always special, and so I think probably this is a photo from our college where
I think this is a photo from your college poster or something when they
alumni,
did it.
yeah, alumni, yeah.
And this is the third
Oh,
one.
I can talk about this. So this is a, I mean, we breathe a life through this. Like this is Friday, which we built, and even today I can show some of the products. Friday, our launcher called Launch, Android launcher. Some of those are even when we use it today, we find it relevant. Maybe because it's our creation, but we spent a lot of time. So interesting fact is that two things that we kind of embraced as developers, startup or whatever you can call, is that one is we were completely Android first, right? And that was a polarization we really, it helped us as well. At the same time, we genuinely loved being a part of Android ecosystem. And we have always for the 5 years of running etc., at least 3 or 4 years after leaving the initial years, we were always the when Google used to run the app, app of the year, app of the year or something like that. We were always the app from India, which came top on the top. Every year we had different apps. So so Android first was our one motto. Second one was that we always wanted to push the bar on design. So I don't know whether you remember, in 2010 to 2015, Apple was known for having beautiful apps, and Android used to known for functional apps that were really really bad and dirty, never looked good. This all changed obviously when Matthias Duarte came and built material design. But this is before that. There were very very few apps in Android which used to look good, and we knew that that could be easy differentiator, because in Android, if you can make something look beautiful, and then that gives you a lot of advantage, right? We never spent any penny in user acquisition or downloads, or two ways we got downloads or users were either product engineering or product marketing, or getting covered by different media, and then getting featured on Play Store. Getting featured on Play Store was the highest, in terms of ROI. So we kept a lot of effort. We did a lot of effort to make our product look good. In that time, there was an app called Path, which was which used to be like the epitome of beautiful UX. So we wanted to, like, that Path was one of the apps which was there in both Android and iOS. So Path Android app was the only app which was like very different from everything else. Looks really good. When you scroll, the clock will also scroll with you, showing the time. They had done a lot of things like that. So we wanted to like make our own version of design, where there are a lot of small elements which looked good. There is we spent a lot of energy in making every small bit of detail. So this is the splash screen of Friday. We meticulously designed a lot of features on this. So this logo we designed is a, I don't know how many iterations we did of Friday app itself. So we used to keep on iterating our user experience. So this brings me all these memories. Yeah.
No, so like you mentioned, when we were speaking before the session, also, I think one of I had an Xperia at that point in time, the Xperia smartphone, and Friday was one of the
Yeah.
apps that looked different even at that point in time, right? So there were only handful of apps that we could actually enjoy using, or see beautiful. We can mark it as this looks beautiful, right? So we were discussing it offline as well, but yeah, and Path was one of them. I think Instagram was still there, but it was still
Yeah.
just the yeah it was
Yeah, Instagram was like, not much. I think Flipboard also changed. And Flipboard could
Flipboard.
be like shit. There's somebody who creates something very different. Like you can, the interaction is different. And they had this, telescope, binocular as their, splash screen. The famous New York binocular. You can put the coin, and that was it. So we were like, we were really smitten by that. The splash screen looked really good. We actually went around shopping for good splash screen images to put for Friday. This is actually a pigeon's image there, which is blurred. But we could not get a good one. We actually went to photographers and said, like, we need a really good splash screen. So we really wanted to be the best looking app. Spent a lot of energy on that.
and this is the next one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could say that we got acquired, yes, and but what we did not do at all great is do a decent PR around it. I don't know anybody, or very few people knew about Dexetra getting acquired. I think at that same point of time, there was another startup which got acquired by Yahoo. I don't remember the name of the startup, and they were like a Chinese kind of a product. I think I don't remember, but we were actually very sad that, so we did not take our destiny in our hands basically. So Ali Quixie was, we left it to Quixie to kind of do the whole media jing bang. We did not do it anything. So it some people knew about it, but it did not really come out the way it could have. But we'll take whatever is there. So this is one of the write ups, I think, which came after that. Yeah, this also came quite late. Yeah, this is like just a random Friday night. Nothing more than that.
Yeah.
So the drawings you see behind that are my wife's painting. So that's Rahul Dravid and others are something else. So I think my wife had a bad day in office, maybe, so she took it out on me and made me do this.
I think the app that you were mentioning was Bookpad that was got acquired by Yahoo previously. I think it was Bookpad.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
So with that, we come to the end of that segment as well, and we are on to our next and final segment, which is called as rapid fire, where we have a few questions for you, nothing serious. So we'll go through that one by one. And the first question is, describe Dexetra in 2 words.
I think it was the first, product mobile first startup from India.
And this is the second one. If you could trade lives with one entrepreneur for a day, who would it be and why?
I mean, that's a hard question to answer. I don't really look up to individuals like that. I've been inspired a lot by folks, but I've never felt a need to be somebody else. I am a big fan of Bill Gates. A big fan of um, yeah, Bill Gates is my like person who I really look up to as somebody who got closure in his life. He built something, he reached the peak, and then moved on, and he's doing something else. So, but I can't say that I would want to be Bill Gates. Like I would want to be myself. Yeah.
And if you were to, start up all over again, what is the one thing that you would do differently?
I mean, I do everything differently. There'll be hardly one thing I do the same. Uh, Probably would be having a team similar to I had, because having six co-founders, and then going all the way through exit from for 5 years is not an easy thing. And this I always say very proudly that we've had different kinds of opinions, difference of opinions, a lot of debates and stuff like that about different things, very constructive. We've never had any issues around a trust or in terms of interpersonal relationship. So uh, I think one of the most important things to run a startup is having that kind of a team. So I was just talking to another entrepreneur today, and he was doing it all. He was a single, founder entrepreneur, and I told him that this you should just get a co-founder. Even if it is an average co-founder, you don't trust him much. It's even better. It's still better than what you're doing now, because you'll go through ups and downs, and the voice in your head will be the only co-founder that you have. That's a very bad co-founder. So I think I'll do most things differently. I don't know if I'll do anything same, but the only thing I would do the same probably will be getting a founding team like I had.
This is the next one. What do you think I'd be most surprised to find about you?
Uh, I've always thought about this. I think my USP, as you could call, is that I can, if there's a contest where you have to do 1,000 things, and then the person who gets the highest average score across the 1,000 things will win. I will win that contest. But but if it is about some one thing and you have to beat, there is no one thing that I can. So I have a lot of breadth in terms of doing so many things in different areas. But you can call it jack of all trades as well in simple terms. But I can say it in a little bit more sophisticated way.
I think I also read somewhere that you mentioned, I don't know if you specifically spoke about KOs, that you like KOs, and that is eventually why you ended up uh,
Yeah,
building.
I was that was maybe I said this when I was much younger, and I was not having any reason to be disciplined. Uh, but I think chaos is what made me an entrepreneur, because till then I came from a family where extremely disciplined system and structure I had. taught by my dad. And the moment he passed away, there was like a void, and then I was like going crazy. And that probably helped me discover different sides of me. But right now, going into the second half of 30s, I think I would probably not recommend that.
So the final question is, what is your best memory associated with Dexetra?
I think it is, so. This is when we had probably raised the first round. I think not even the series A, and the our original angel investor. He was like, not a real tech investor. He was an accidental investor. He put money in a startup. And we have been slogging it, right? We are slogging it out. We're working so hard, and uh, so when we built Friday, I even today I believe that it was like one of the best products at that point of time. And we went around pitching it to different people. We went around pitching it to entrepreneurs, to media outlets, to investors. Like, look at this. This is like really, and people did not. Probably the story was too grandiose that people said maybe this is just a vaporware, right? I am assuming that could be the reason. But so I remember this was when this whole thing happened. The company's direction changed in 3 days. I'll tell you that those 3 days. So this was a Friday. I think in some October 16th or something like that. I don't remember. 2011 or 2012. So it was a Friday, and Thursday was when Apple had announced Siri, and the big bang release, right? People are like SRAB. The SRA had built this for 10 years, 1980s. The research lab, Stanford Research. It is like a lot of tech and that and blah blah blah, and it like really took over the internet, right? Broke the internet. And on Friday, it was a Friday, and one of our co-founders, some relative, had passed away. So half my team had gone to the funerals far away. So there was just 3 or 4 folks sitting in our office guarding the. So we're just having a random conversation, and I mentioned that, and it's like obviously we were young and stupid and kind of jealous. So we said we can build this in like 8 hours. Like we can build Siri because we have built Friday, which is nothing but a similar thing, but in a different skin. We can make Siri in like 8 hours. Then so Binil, who was a non-tech guy, was like, I can bet dinner on this. So me and the Android developer and I think 2 or 3 of us just sat down, made a crude of it, like which is all just some, but for an end user it looks exactly like that, right? So we use a Fridays engine to kind of parse the whatever queries. So we use Google to voice text to create the convert the voice command to a text, and then we parse the text, and then we found out whether it's a question, whether it's a command, and then we created some state machine which will kind of do all that shit. So, and we quickly built a UI also. We called it Iris. Uh, and then on Saturday, it just posted it on Twitter. I think it was a long night. Friday, we built this in 8 9 hours actually. And then we put a screenshot on Twitter, I think. And this is like 2 days, 1.5 days from the launch of uh, Siri.
Siri.
So TechCrunch, one of the senior editors, he tweets back to me and says that, hey, can I try this? And this is the same TechCrunch guys who we've been chasing for, like, we've sent so many mails to them. Their press at techcrunch.com talking about our videos, shared videos, shared write up. I'm like, shit, this is happening. So we said in that spur of the moment, I also sent him the app. Uh, and this is like a really crude version, okay? And we were actually hitting MIT's start at MIT.edu, I think, start like a semantic answering engine for some. So Siri has, if you look at Siri, there are a bunch of things, right? First, it will identify whether it's a command to be done on the phone, like a call a person or turn off the Bluetooth or something like that. It could be a direct IFTTT kind of a command, like navigate to somewhere XYZ. It could be a knowledge question, which is like how many kilometers from Miami Beach to Washington DC. In which case, it has to go to a knowledge source. I'm saying this command because this is a command used to always train our system on. It is 1,400 miles, I think, uh, when we build Iris. So this we have to get from a third-party source because we don't have the data to know this factual information. So I think Apple used that evolved from Alpha, and then there's a company called True Knowledge who also worked with us, and they eventually got acquired by Apple itself, I think. But we don't have resources to get any of these sources. So we found this site called mit.edu. I don't know if it's still there. Start.mit.edu, where you can actually that built an engine which will which has crawled Wikipedia and other knowledge sources and created that when you can ask a question, it will give you the answers, factual answers. And then the fourth part is you have a random conversation like Siri, you look very cute. They'll say, "Oh, I know, I'm cute." So these kind of conversation we could do with our chatbot engine that we built. So the third part we didn't have. So we actually hit the MIT.edu website where we kind of crawled the website whenever somebody asks. So this crude 8-hour version had this just it'll hit their website like without any protection, like it just hit them and get the answer. So this guy got my APK, and at the time I think we were just running out of our Vijay Shekhar Sharma investment also, and I was actually sleeping in office. I was homeless. So in our office, it's actually a small 2-bedroom house, and I was sleeping in the kitchen. That's my room. So Sunday night, so this happened on Saturday evening or something like that. Sunday morning, I'm getting a lot of Google alerts, and my phone is like, and then my co-founder is also calling me. Then I just opened the phone, and then I see about this, and is written about this thing saying that, hey, you know what, there is a competitor for Siri already. This is called Iris, and blah blah blah. And then he also put the APK to download from the TechCrunch article. And by the time I woke up, the article was like 5 hours new, and then there was like 100,000 likes and shares or whatever. It is all over the internet. And then I was like, shit, this is happening, and it's not any benefit for me as well because they've just. So then what happened is I told that guy that, yeah, please don't put the APK to download from your website. I'll upload it to Play Store. Now the version you have is like really bad. It's just written in like 8 hours, right? Let me. So I don't even have an opportunity to fix it. So just take off the APK. I'll upload it right away into Play Store, and then you can just link it to that. Then he said, okay, we'll do that. So he updated the article. We put the app in Play Store. You wouldn't believe it. In the next 2 days, we had like around 200,000 daily active users. By end of that month, this is like 18th of the month is when we put it. By the end of the month, we had 1 million active users. And at that point, I remember Google Maps had 10 million downloads. 10 million plus was the bracket. That's the biggest bracket in Play Store. From there, it all went crazy. So this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and after that, a lot of this warm conversation that we had with investors turned hot, right? Like they wanted to invest and things like that. So those 3 days and something which is just did for like fun, changed the destiny for Dexetra. Um, yeah, so that is the best memory I have.
Awesome. So with that, we come to the end of that segment as well. And before we close, we have a small ask for you. Basically, if you can recommend us one, founder that you would love to see a chat like this. If you can give an intro, nothing like it. If there is one
Yeah,
person that you
yeah.
could recommend, that would be great.
So I think I can recommend my colleague and the founder of Roposo. I mean, Roposo is now the hottest app in India, uh, and he's my colleague in Glance. They joined the Glance family recently, so I can connect you with him. You should talk to him. He has much more interesting stories than mine, for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Narayan. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thanks a lot for spending time with us. Thank you.
Same pleasure is all mine.